Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and a happy good morning to you wherever you are. This is a Clara Luper radio show, and today's show is a pre-Memorial Day show, one that you will remember. I would like for you to do what Calvin has asked you to do so often. Call a friend. Tell your friend to spend the next hour with Clara Luper. This portion of our program is being brought to you by Johnson's Shadinas, located at 1643 Northeast 50th Street in Oklahoma City. The telephone number is 424-4656. Or you may think about 1211 Northeast. You will think about it. Now, let me make sure I have it right. Johnson's Shadinas at 1643 Northeast 50th Street and Johnson's Shadinas on Martin Luther King, next door to the Black History Monument. You may call 424-4656. Now, those of you that are looking for some work, let me tell you, Johnson's Shadinas will be hiring next week 2 full-time workers and some part-time workers. If you love children, if you want a good stable job, call Mrs. Gloria Matthews at 424-4656. Our program today will be a very special program because we'll be telling you that it's time now for you to get that haircut and go on down to Gates Barbershop, 2609 North Martin Luther King in Oklahoma City. Mr. Gates is waiting for you. Not only is he waiting for you, he will give you the opportunity to see those beautiful flowers, and they are beautiful. And then you walk in that barbershop and it says, "We make people beautiful." Gates Barbershop, 2609 North Martin Luther King. Elgina Sadberry, the president of NACP, has just graduated from high school, and she wants you to know that as president of NACP, she's anxious for you to come to Freedom Center today and get that catfish. Many of you have been complaining because we didn't sell catfish last week. We were all down to Lawton last week, but we are selling catfish today, and we'll start at 10:30, and we'll be selling until 3 o'clock. So be sure and get that catfish dinner in. Hometown is located on 23rd and Martin Luther King, and it's time now for you to do your shopping. You can do your shopping at Hometown for 24 hours. Dr. A.L. Dow is located at 934 Northeast 8th Street in Oklahoma City. He's the optometrist that knows exactly what to do. You may call and get an appointment, and this is very important that you get an appointment. The telephone number is 235-0536. Dr. A.L. Dow. Gideon's 300 store is located at 6006 Southwestern in Oklahoma City. They have African clothes, African sculptures, African jewelry. Name it and they have it at Gideon's 300 store, 6006 Southwestern in Oklahoma City. The telephone number is 6320770. I've told you about Johnson Shadinas, but let me give you the exact address of Johnson Shadinas, number 2, 2611 North Martin Luther King, and that telephone number is 427-5274. The Johnson Shadinas looking for 2 permanent employees. That means that you work 8 hours a day, and some part-time employees. Call Mrs. Gloria Matthews, 427-5274. Thinking of barbecue, let's think of Leo's Barbecue, 3631 North Kelly in Oklahoma City. The telephone number is 424-5367. As we go into our program today you will have an opportunity once again to hear from my ACE reporters. But before my ACE reporters come in, I have something very special to share with you. And I know you want me to do it. And I'm going to share some moments with you. Moments of remembrance. Yes, precious memories. How they linger. The sun was peeping through the clouds. The wind was softly blowing. The parking lots at the 5th Street Baptist Church both on the east and the west side, was filled with automobiles of all descriptions. The streets on Northeast Fifth Street was lined from Phillips on down to Stonewall. 8 limousines rolled up to Fifth Street Baptist Church. And then looking just at the crowd, you know somebody had lived a fruitful, love-to-filled life. There had been a memorial service the night before. A memorial service for Henry Roth Jr. Yes, with Reverend John Reed of the Fairview Baptist Church officiating. There were words of remembrance by Mr. Williamson from the trustee board, Fifth Street Baptist Church, Deacon Wedgeworth, who spoke not as a church member, but in remembrance of Henry Roth Jr. as a member of the Lions Club. There were words from Lady Ruth Hunter. Oh, precious Lord, precious memories. And then there were words from Lady Ruth Hunter. The class of 1967 remembered him with special resolutions that were read. It was all for Henry Roth Jr. But that was only the beginning of the story. As I walked up to Fifth Street Baptist Church, my heart was heavy. My mind was very reflective of precious memories. Memories not only of Henry Roth Jr., but of his grandfather that founded the church, one of the founders of the church, of his mother and father that worked so hard in the church. And I remember when the torch was handed to Henry Roth Jr., maybe it was handed to him as a little boy in Sunday school or daily vacation Bible school, or maybe it was the day that he announced to the church that he was answering the call of the ministry. But now the music was soft. Every seat in the church was filled. They came. Members of the Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity went into the choir stand. The choir stand was filled. Or maybe it was the appearance of the funeral directors that came. The national president of the funeral directors, Mr. Harvey, who had come from Kansas City, Missouri. Maybe it was Mr. Myers from Wewoka. Or maybe it was Mr. Bigelow from Muskogee, or Mr. Temple, representatives from the McKay Funeral Home. Yeah, McKay Davis Funeral Home, representative from all of the funeral. Now the funeral directors were marching in. They took a seat on the far western side of the church. The crowd was an unusual crowd, representing all ages, all races, and all occupations. Now soft music echoed through the church. Soft music. Years of memories, precious memories. Now the ministers going across the denominational lines, representing every phase of religious activities within Oklahoma. Reverend Fred Elkins had come from Wichita Falls, Texas. Yes, there were others, and they were going to the pulpit to take their place. I'm talking about the funeral services of Henry Roth Jr. I'm talking about the fact that somebody lived, and Henry Roth Jr. had lived a different kind of life, a life that was filled with love. And as the melodies of Our Fly Away echoed, in imagination you could just feel the heartbeat of those that loved him so well. Then Reverend Fred Elkins Sr. from Wichita Falls, Texas, read with feelings and with meaning the 23rd Psalms. And now Reverend Floyd L. Wilson read from the 2nd Corinthians. And then that warm prayer by Reverend James Weekly. It was a resolution from the Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity that touched our hearts. And then Thomas Bird sang, "He did it for my good." The eulogy was delivered by Henry Ross, pastor, one that he loved so dearly. And now Reverend Coleman was telling the crowd about the suffering not only of Henry Ross Jr., but of Job. Yes, short, to the point, filled with blessings, filled with gratitude, Reverend A. Byron Coleman spoke out of his heart. And then he recalled what Henry Roth had told us on his last visit to Fifth Street Baptist Church on Easter, when Henry Roth Jr. told us about faith and about the reason that he had to praise God in spite of the conditions. Reverend Coleman warmed our hearts, and he connected us with eternity. And now the music was soft. That was a pardoned view. And as I walked out of the church with others, my heart too was heavy. My eyes, like others, were filled with tears that even time itself would not erase. And then we remembered. It was, ladies and gentlemen, as if time had wrapped us around Henry Roth. It was as if words had eternal meaning. There was his lovely wife, Vaughn, his beautiful daughter, Caris, and his relatives. There was so much to say, and it was so still. As people marched out to church, it looked like they were drawn back to Fifth Street. They stood there. Yes, there were hugs. There were moments of remembrance. But now Henry Roth's body was taken out. Nobody wanted to leave the church. They stood as if in a trance because they had lost a friend. They had lost a brother. They had lost a whole lot of understanding and concern for other people. Sure, the Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity felt it. Sure, the NACP Youth Council felt it. He'd been the past treasurer of the NACP Youth Council. He had helped the NACP Youth Council go to conventions. He had worked in the Miss Black Oklahoma pageant as a speaker and as chairman of the Transportation Committee. Sure, he was a member of the Lions Club. Sure, he was active in the sit-in movement. Sure, he had done his best. Yes, Henry Roth was dead. But death brings us closer to eternity. And Henry left us with precious memories. And then as we remember the words that come from John, I am not alone because the Father's with me. We knew that Henry Roth had lived a fruitful life that brought all of us together as a family that was quilted in love and understanding and with memories. His memories will live forever. Tell me the story, flowers, as the flower girls, the women intermediate auxiliary, the deaconesses and missionary societies of Fifth Street Baptist Missionary Church, Fifth Street Missionary Baptist Church. Tell us the story in flowers. Tell us the story as an active pallbearers and honorary pallbearers marched out. Tell us the story of a life that was so well lived. And now it's time to move toward Trice Hill. It was a procession like you had never seen before. And even at Trice Hill, people stood. People stood as Reverend Coleman committed his body to the earth. Yes, people stood. People stood and waited as if they were waiting for time itself. Hated to leave. But now Henry had found a better home. A home of eternity. A home where there would be no more sickness. Where there would be no more crying. Where there would be no weeping. And as his nurses and his doctors told the story of faith and the honor they had of waiting on someone that had lived a fruitful life. Clara Luper reporting, and precious memories, how they live, how they linger. Jimmy Rock Jr. And now, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Clara Luper Radio Show, and I switch you now to my reporter, Freddie Stevens.
Yes, I am Freddie Mae Stevens. I am 93 years old, a member of Avery Chapel Church, a Zeta Phi Beta sorority lady. At my age, I do not make the news, but I really will tell it. I cannot solve your problem, but one thing I sure can listen. A lady in Oklahoma City here got 2 children, and she's been married 3 or 4 times. No home, no education, and lived off a little money. Her 2 children, she did not make them go to school or church, especially when they are small. And now the children are grown, and they dishonor her. Dishonor her. Her children have been married. Her son have been married 3 or 4 times. He's been in the penitentiary for stealing anything he could get. He is out now, and he told his mother, "You are not my mother. You have not done what you should have done for me by bringing me up in this world." And the daughter and mother, they do not get along at all. This daughter told her mother, when she was born, "Why didn't you flush me down the toilet stool? Because you have not taught me nothing or told me nothing." And this mother now is wondering why her own children are treating her so badly. Next week, I will talk about another mother here in Oklahoma City. Her son is getting out of the penitentiary in November. She is confused on what to do. And this son is 33 years old. I am Freddie Mae Stevens talking. Thank you.
Thank you. That portion of our program was brought to you by your Allstate Insurance agent, Merlin Hildred, located at 730 North Britton Road in Oklahoma City. The telephone number is 848-0811. And now to our reporter, Coco.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Coco Thomas, your fantastic reporter. Today at 10 o'clock a.m. at the Freedom Center, we will be selling delicious catfish dinners. So come on down and get your delicious, luscious catfish dinner. This is Coco Thomas, your fantastic reporter.
Thank you, Coco, for reminding everyone to come on down to Freedom Center and get your catfish dinner. It's being prepared by the King of Catfish Frying, C.P. Wilson, along with his assistants, Calvin Luper and Berlin Nero, all at Freedom Center. This portion of the program has been brought to you by Leo's Barbecue, located at 3631 North Kelly in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Langston University, we will be hearing about that new opening, Langston University, Oklahoma style. Those of you that you know that every year this time we talk to you about Miss Black Oklahoma. Miss Black Oklahoma contestants will be arriving in Oklahoma City on June 19th. They will be arriving at the Bricktown Plaza Hotel. Let's go back then through the years briefly. In 1970, that was our first one. Melba Walker from Oklahoma City won. 1971, Virginia Glover from Guthrie, Oklahoma. 1972, Patricia Brown from Oklahoma City. 1973 was Elizabeth Smith from Tulsa. 1974, Linda Willis from Muskogee. 1975, Stephanie Stevenson from Chickasha. 1976, Jackie Jordan from Clinton. 1977, Pinky Alexander, who represented Langston University. 1978, Deborah Greer from Shawnee. 1979, it was Sarita Red from Midwest City. 1980, it was Sarah English from Tulsa. 1981, Leisha Swain from Langston University. 1982, Stephanie Carter, Langston University. 1983, Lisa Landry from Tulsa. 1984, Ava Gardner from Lawton. 1985, Cynthia Shirley from Oklahoma City. 1986, Karen Marston from Central State University. 1987, Sharon Evans from Langston University. 1988, Stormy Carr, the University of Oklahoma. 1989, Kalina Nicholson from Langston University. 1990, Melanie Brightshire from Langston University. 1991, Keisha Johnson from Langston University. 1992, Erica Barnett from Langston University. That was in 1992. 1993, Courtney Wilson from Oklahoma University. 1994, Karen Wallace from Bowley. 1995, Bashira Ahmad from Oklahoma University. 1996, Tiffany Jones from Oklahoma State University. 1997, Ebony Johnson. And 1998, it was that lovely Kelly Lambert from the University of Central Oklahoma. Now, the big question is, who will be the winner this year? Well, those of you that have not gotten your tickets, you better do so today. There are a few tickets left. Some of the contestants and pages will be at the Freedom Center. And all pages are asked to come up to the Freedom Center today at 11 o'clock. We would like to see you because we do have some important information that you need to know. We have talked to the pages from Tulsa and the pages from Muskogee and Okmulgee, and they are all ready. This is the Clara Luper radio show. Yes, it's time now. It's time for us to think about catfish. And I'm looking for Miss Bosie Walker. Oh, I'd like to hear Miss Bosie Walker talk about that catfish. And can she talk? Miss Bosie Walker will be talking catfish today. Mrs. Gloria Mathis, catfish. Miss Lily Ruth Hunter will be talking catfish. This is catfish talking time because we realize that the future of our people depends upon how much we expose our children to that's good. Mrs. Stevens told you this morning about a mother that did not expose her children. Well, we have to become mothers and fathers to all of the children, and that's why we're working so hard at Freedom Center to help our young people. And I know you want to be a part of it. I know you're anxious to come up to Freedom Center and put your arms around those children and say, I want to help you. I want to see you go places that I have never been, and I want you to see things that I have never seen. And certainly the young people will do that as they go to New York City to represent you in various areas. And Marilyn will be calling you because she's all excited because we will have representatives in the AXO competition. Oklahoma City will have representatives because of you and your ability to buy catfish, to give a donation, to say, I want to have the children. I want to help the children. We have the winners in the original essay, poetry, playwriting, music composition, drawing, filmmaking, photographer, painting, sculpture, biology, math, physics, chemistry. We have representatives in dance and orations, and all because of your help. Not only that, we have vocal music contemporary, instrumental music contemporary, vocal music classical, instrumental music classical. Aren't you proud that you're going to be a part of that? And you're going to help those young people go to New York City to show that all of us aren't headed to the penitentiary. All of our children are not going bad. We are going to show you, and these young people will come back to Oklahoma City with new motivation, with a new outlook on life, all because you stopped by 2609 North Martin Luther King and say, I want to help the children. If you are not able to get there today, why don't you send a donation to the NACP Youth Council? That's Post Office Box 11106, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Help the children. Yes, let's save our children. That's what we must do. And I am so proud of the children that are staying out of trouble. Yes, we have come over some stony roads. And sometimes, as James Weldon Johnson put it, our faith unborn, it looked as if it was dying. But in spite of it all, with a steady beat, our wearied feet have come to the place of which our fathers dreamed, dreaming of the day when our young people could compete. Yes, some of us never had a chance to compete, but we have a chance to help young people that are willing to compete. We must teach our children now that we have come over a way that with tears has been watered. We have come, we have come, we have come, and out from the gloomy past till now we stand at last, where the white gleam of our bright star is cast. Do we have the spirit of those pioneers, Reverend Perry, Reverend Provo, and others that helped our young people? Do we have that spirit? Will we put our arms around the young people and say, go on to the top? Go, young people, go to the top. I never had a chance like you had, but I want you to go. Yes, we must continue to push our young people to the top. How do you push them? Maybe you'll come up to Freedom Center and you'll say to Micah Edwards, maybe you will say, Micah, go on to the top. Or maybe you will speak to David and say, David, go on to the top. Yes, we are talking about helping the children. Sometimes, Calvin, it looks like that our great supporters, oh, Calvin.
Yes, indeed, Mom. Let me say good morning to you and to all of you out there that are listening to the Clara Luper radio show. We want to say a happy good morning to you. We want you to have a safe holiday this weekend. Good things are happening all over the state today, Mom, particularly down in Boley, Oklahoma, where, we're celebrating, even though we weren't there, but we are celebrating along with the thousands of you who are on your way to Boley, Oklahoma, or who may already be down in Boley. They're at the big rodeo and the barbecue festival that is going on this weekend. The key thing that we want to mention, though, is that we want you to remain safe. So you know what you have to do. You got to buckle up. We have a new law. So if you don't buckle up, it's going to cost you some. But right now, I'm just enjoying the Clara Luper radio show and joining with the everyone out here and all of you that are listening. So do me that favor. Call that friend, call that neighbor, and invite them to be a part of this great radio show on this beautiful Memorial Day weekend.
Well, thank you, Calvin. I know you come here today with memories of Henry Ralph Jr.
Oh, Mom, many memories during the services there. Well, Henry has been sick a long time, but Henry and I go back, I think, the early days of Sunday school when we were both around 3 or 4 years of age there at Fifth Street Baptist Church and Bible school. So we go back a long way. I have plenty of memories of Henry Jr. from Camp Classen, from Douglas High School, from Edwards Addition, but it all centers back to Fifth Street Baptist Church. And I want to thank you and the Rolfe family and the Fifth Street Baptist Church family for the love and the dedication that you all showed us as young people when we were growing up in the junior high school, and our college days. Those were lessons that constantly we go over in our minds, and that constantly we have gone on and made our lives by. And Henry was special to all of us because he had what I like to call a little impish smile, but he was always very serious and dedicated and highly motivated. We'll miss him, but one thing about it, we know that he gave his best, and we know that the challenge that he's left with us is going to be a great one. So it's going to be a little tough missing and not being with Henry, but we know that we will see him again. But we know that he's done so much to help so many of us here that we're just proud of the fact that we had an opportunity to spend this little minute of time with him, and to his family and his friends. You all know that we too join in the sympathies that you're going to receive from all across this nation. But we too will miss Henry dearly.
You're right, Calvin, and today I'm asking John Temple to serve as chairperson of the Miss Black Oklahoma Transportation Committee for us. John Temple of the Temple Funeral Home. I would like to thank all of you for your support through the years, and I would like to thank you on behalf of all of us. Burley Nero, one of our youth advisors, lost his father this week. That service was held at 11 o'clock on Thursday. And today we extend our sympathy not only to Burley and Shirley and Dr. Don Nero, but to the entire family. And we will be telling you more about that next week. This is the Clara Luper radio show. And I'm expecting Dr. Holloway from Langston University, who's out of the town to
Dr.
call.
Holloway is the president of Langston University, but he's out of Boley, Oklahoma. Isn't that his
Yeah,
home?
he's out of Boley. And last night he spoke in Muskogee, Oklahoma.
We
They
can't
had a
forget
big-
from where he come from.
That's right, that's right. Because, and speaking of where people come from, they're having a homecoming down in Gary, Oklahoma today and tomorrow. And my friend Anna Slaughter has gone down there, and I told her yesterday, I know all three of you will be at Gary, Oklahoma.
All three of
and
them.
boy, she really got upset. She told me it's going to be so many people
Well,
down there.
she's
but
still celebrating her birthday from last week, but
Okay.
we know she's having a good time there.
Okay, this is Clara Luper.
Hello,
Yes.
this is Bosie Mae Walker,
Yes, Bosie Mae
one of
Walker.
the youth counselors of the NAACP.
Yes.
I would just like to say to all my friends in Oklahoma City, church members, friends, enemies, and everybody else, please come to the Freedom Center and buy a catfish dinner to help our youth to go to New York City, New York, to participate in the AXO program and also attend the National NAACP convention.
Miss Walker, do you think you have friends that going to come up there and buy that catfish?
I think so. They love me so well. That's what they tell me. I want all my church members that hear me this morning to be sure. If they don't, they're in trouble.
Well, people tell you anything, but I'm sure of myself. All my friends love me, and I can see them walking up to Freedom Center, 2609 North Martin Luther King, and say, I'm here to push Clara Luper over the top.
Well, they better come to push Bosie Mae Walker over the top.
Well, those are United Methodists. You think they're going to be united behind you?
Well, I think so, and I'm hoping so, and I pray so.
Well, you must remember that your pastor was my student.
And I know if he's listening this morning, if he doesn't want any catfish, please give a donation. We will be there all day today, and we will accept from $1 on up to 100 or 200.
Well, Reverend John Reed, pastor of the Fairview Baptist Church, has just told us that his church is giving a donation to help the young people go to the convention. Well, Mrs. Walker, do you think you're going to get to jump this year when those young people go on that stage?
I'm going to do the holy dance because I feel like we're going to have 2 or 3 kids that bring the banner back to Oklahoma City.
I would like to congratulate you for what you're doing with those young people. You have 2 young people that you pick up every Sunday for Sunday school. And
that's right, and 3 for the NAACP Youth Council meeting.
And one of those young ladies went over the top and won in every capacity that she participated in. You're to be commended. But today I'm going to beat you so bad, Bosie Walker. Are you in competition with Clara Luper?
I am indeed. If I don't beat you, I'll run close.
You will do that.
You're going to look just like the Jazz looked the other night when Portland got through with. Thank you, Mrs. Walker.
Okay, and thank you.
Okay, this is the Clara Luper radio show, and today we are talking about helping our young people.
Mom, I wanted to ask Mrs. Walker what she meant by that dance. Why don't you describe to us?
I'm not going to describe that holy dance.
Holy dance she did.
But I know one thing. When we had a winner last year.
In the AXO competition.
In the AXO competition, and Mrs. Walker jumped up. Oh, she jumped up. Wow, wow, wow. Oklahoma, because it's very difficult. I know I've been taking young people for 17 years participating in the AXO, and I've only had, 4 winners. But that's really good. Yes, this is the Clara Luper radio show, and I'm calling upon you to get on out and help. Wonder does Miss Stale think some of her friends coming to Saturday to buy catfish?
Of
Miss
course,
Maxine
Mom. You know,
Stale.
Mrs. Steele is dedicated and she's motivated. I
I
hope she
want.
has that
I
coconut
hope she
cream
calls
pie,
in.
though.
I want to hear. I want to hear Miss Maxine Stale because today I'm gonna
Mm.
knock them out. I'm gonna beat Maxine Stale, Wilma Ray. I'm gonna tear my good sorority sister Letty Ruth Hunter up. I'm gonna beat Nancy Davis. I'm gonna tear them up today and selling catfish between the hours of 10:30 and 3 o'clock. I will take care of you today.
You know, that at the Freedom Center, more happens there than just selling the dinners, Mom. On Monday nights, there's something
It's
going
an
on.
educational experience. It's an educational experience. That's what we've got to do. Calvin and I have really been disturbed by some of the reports that I'm getting about our kids. I have been told that our kids have been cursing teachers. Can you imagine that?
Mom, I can imagine anything
Well, I
happening in our
can't.
public school system. But what gets me is the fact that school is out now, and those same kids are anxiously awaiting the opportunity to hit the streets of Oklahoma City, be it for jobs or be it for additional schooling or hopefully going to the library more or coming by the Freedom Center, but being an active part of the community. I think this is the time in the year when all the citizens can actively help the teachers do their job the rest of the year. You know, we'll be seeing these kids out. We have an opportunity to talk to them, to mentor them, and to be a part of their lives. So let's just see what the rest of the community is going to do. Let's don't just get on the school system.
Well, I'm getting on the parents and the kids. Our kids have no business using curse words. Now, I'm telling you, if you use curse words at home in front of your kids, they're going to take them to school. I've talked to teachers that don't want to teach anymore because they say the kids are out of control. Now, can you imagine what this world would be like if we could not get any more good teachers in our school system? And teachers are not going to have nervous breakdowns because of kids. And you kids, you shut your mouths. If you're going to curse, don't you curse. If you decide to curse, don't curse because it will get you nowhere but in the penitentiary or somebody will knock your head clear off. I thank God for the kids that I've taught because I've never had the experience of a kid coming up cursing me. I don't know what I would do. I'd probably be down to the county jail. I've already been arrested 26 times trying to win the rights of blacks to eat in public places. But let me tell you young people something. You are lucky to have people that are teaching you. And you are lucky because how are you going to learn if you don't learn to listen? That's the first law. And if you do nothing else but call your teachers, write your teachers and say, I'm sorry that I disobeyed you because I got to have somebody to teach me or
Now,
else
Mom,
you're
you
not
don't
going to
really
eat.
think that'll happen now, do you? Now, how many kids you think out there are going to take the time out to write their teacher and just say thank you for the past 9 months of your lives that you have spent with me here in this school building? But school is out, so we'll just see what the kids do and see what we can do to help them make this city a better place because it's a community effort. And if whichever way the schools go, whichever way the churches go, if we don't all work together to make this a better place, we really will have a problem, serious problem.
Okay, this is Clara Luper with KTLV Radio.
Oh, hi, good morning, Mrs.
Well,
Luper.
Mrs. Hunter, I've been looking forward to hearing from you.
Well, I was just listening to your radio program, and I thought maybe you were talking, so you had a lot of advice and everything that you were giving people. So I said, well, I'll just wait until she gets through with all of this. But number one, I want to say amen to what you were saying about the children cursing in school. And but it's my philosophy that when I don't know what age you're talking about.
I'm talking about first, second, third, and on up.
But when they're in the first, second, and third grade, that is where the teacher should counsel with them. Just call them and sit them down. Either just stop teaching and talk, lecture to the class. Tell them about bad words, because when children hear these words at home, they don't know they're bad words. They just think there's some words forced to use, and then they just use them. And this is where you are to come in and say, these are bad words. Let's not use those, and give them some other words to use instead of those. I remember once two teachers came over to the Freedom Center years ago, and they were primary teachers, and they were talking about quitting because the kids were cursing so. And we, I don't know if you remember, but we told those teachers that those kids are saying the words that they hear at home. And they do not know that those are words that they should not use. So it's left up to you to tell them and sell them the idea and show them that those words are not acceptable words to use in a classroom or even in a society.
All right, you tell them. You're on radio and you're talking to kids all over the state. You tell them.
Well, Mrs. Luper, I'm telling them now.
Well, tell them. Let me hear you tell them in words. Tell them in words.
And then, but the thing about it, you have to know the words that they're saying. And you have to use the words. For me to say curse words aren't bad to use. Now, some kids say, curse words, what are they? So they would have to be identified and described. So well,
I don't want you to do that on radio. Don't give them no curse words because there aren't 20 curse words in the English language. And anytime you use a curse word, you become an intellectual dwarf.
Well, that's true. But sometimes those are the only words that children know because they hear their mothers say them at home. And they can bring them to school and use them. I remember a little girl said she used to take the curling iron and hit her brother. Bang, 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 bang. She said she did that because she thought that was all right. That was a good way to play because her mama and daddy was fighting with those things, and she thought they were playing with them until she learned that those weren't the things to be playing with because they were hot and they would burn. And when you hit people with them, they hurt.
Mrs. Hunter, you better tell somebody to come up there and buy some catfish.
This is what my subject number 2. Now, you talking about you're going to outsell everybody.
Including Lady Ruth Hunter.
Bragging about what you do. Now, you know Miss Matthews and I and Mrs. Walker and Mrs. Ray, you know, we up there, we sell a lot of dinners. And sometimes I wonder if we don't get some of them dinners mixed up as to why you always be there. But it might not happen that way because I'm getting on this phone and I'm going to call my friends and tell them to come up there and buy some catfish, and I'm going to come up there and write my own numbers down so I can be sure that I outsell you today in catfish.
Miss Hunter.
Hello, friends.
Miss Hunter.
Members in the radio land.
Miss Hunter.
We are selling dinners today. Will you please come up to the Freedom Center? And when you buy some dinners, say, I'm buying them because I heard Lady Ruth Hunter on the radio say, come up to the Freedom Center and buy dinners. We sure appreciate that. Yes, ma'am, Mrs. Luper.
Miss Hunter, I really feel sorry for you because you have forgotten that I'm from Hoffman, Oklahoma, went to school at Langston University, Oklahoma University, and I've taught all of these people. These are my people in Oklahoma City, and my kids are going to come up there and they're going to buy those catfish, and my kids are not grown kids, but they are still babies to me. If you think that you can beat Clara Luper selling catfish, be just like the people that say, when I asked him for 76 cakes, you're not going to get people to bake 76 cakes and buy them. I had, 89 cakes.
That's right, you did.
That's right.
Exactly right, and I was one of those that throwing mine in to help make out the number. But I still say, hello, radio audience, please come and buy some fish and say, I bought it because I heard Lady Ruth Hunter ask. Come buy some fish because she wants to be Clara Luper.
Yeah.
Well, you know, Mrs. Hunter, I'm sitting here listening to both you and Mom brag about all your friends coming. But you're missing a key element here. You know, we have the Catfish Cooking King, C.P. Wilson will be there. And it's 2 able and very dedicated and very great assistants will be there. And that's none other than Burley and Nero and myself. Now, we're in this race not only to make sure that the catfish tastes good and look good and the dinners are ample and people really get their money's worth, but we're in this thing too. We know that we have
to do what, to lose?
No, we're not worried about the losing. We know that we have people that will be coming there, and they definitely will be wanting that catfish, and they want the catfish to go not necessarily under Clara Luper's name, Lady Hunter, Bosie Walker, any of the other advisors, but under Calvin Luper, Burley and Nero, or CP, the Catfish King.
Man, I want them to know, we go up there and work real hard selling the catfish dinners on Saturdays or whatever.
Lady.
We do it because we're trying to help our youth.
Well,
Lady.
So if you don't want to buy a fish, then come on up there and give me a donation.
Lady,
I'll take that. Yes, ma'am.
Have you ever heard the name Ira Holmes?
Yes,
Lola Greer?
Right.
Have you ever heard the name Freddie Stevens and all? Well, I got to let you go because Calvin is all smiles here. The day Calvin wins a race in Nero, I'll take them. I don't know what I'll do for them.
Well, you don't have to worry about it. Today may just be that day, Mom.
Yeah, it sure may, and it might not. Thank you, lady.
Well, it may be.
And back to Calvin.
Mom, you know, we here on the Clara Luper Radio Show on this special Memorial Day weekend, we want to remind all of you out there to make sure that it's a safe weekend. We want you to come by the Freedom Center. But now we have a call on the line that certainly wants to talk with you.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes?
This is Tamika Cooksey.
I can't hear you.
This is Tamika Cooksey.
Yes, Tamika!
How are you?
Okay, you're supporting who today?
Calvin, who?
Tamika Cooksey.
Oh, so you're going to try to get in the race.
Yes, ma'am. I was calling to tell everyone in Radio Land that Miss Walker and Miss Hunter and Miss Luper and Calvin may all be able to sell a little catfish, but if you want really good catfish, you should buy from Tamika Cooksey at the NAACP Youth Council Freedom Center today from 10 to 3.
Now, Tamika, just because you've been to college for a year, just because you made outstanding grades, just you think you can compete with Clara Luper?
I know that I can compete with Clara Luper. That's what she taught me, Miss Luper.
Yeah, I taught you competition, but I never taught you how to beat me. Okay, we'll see, and thank you, Tamika.
You're welcome. Bye.
This is the Clara Luper radio show, and today's show is a very special show because it's Memorial Day. As we head towards the cemeteries all over this country with memories of people that lived and dreamed of a better day, and the torch has now been handed to a new generation, and we must work in a hurry because the night comes when we cannot work, and we want to leave our landmark on the pages of history. Clara Luper, and I wanted to tell you about Langston University in Oklahoma City. If I don't get to tell you this week, I'm sure tell you next week. Dr. Holloway is somewhere between Muskogee and Boley, Oklahoma, because that big rodeo is going on in Boley today. This is the Clara Luper radio show, and if you ever heard the name of Earl Holmes, Freddie Stevens, Lola Greer, and others, you're going to try to beat Clara Luper. If you ever heard about my students all over this town, have you ever heard of my people? These are my children. These are my children. And I can brag because I got something to brag about. I'm from Hoffman, Oklahoma. Somebody said, where's Hoffman, Oklahoma? I said, who was your geography teacher? You sure must have had a slow teacher if your teacher didn't tell you about Hoffman, Oklahoma. I would like to say to all of the Shepherds, the Halls, the Henderson, get ready to go to Shreveport, Louisiana, to the family reunion, which will be August 8th and 9th in Shreveport, Louisiana. And I would like to say to all of you pages, get out to Freedom Center today and make your reports because we've got to get ready for June 19th through the 26th where we will be celebrating Miss Black, Oklahoma. Hello?
Good morning, Oklahoma City. Maxine Stale.
Maxine Stale.
Reminding you, at 2609 Martin Luther King, delicious catfish are being served. Please come help us help our children.
Now, Mrs. Stale.
Yes.
Miss Stale, now, do you think that the people are going to come up there and buy catfish from you?
I do.
Now, here's a question. Do you think that you're going to beat Clara Luper selling catfish today?
I think with all of us together, we're going to be a winner.
No, I'm talking about Maxine Stale. Do you think that you can beat Clara Luper selling catfish today?
Sure. I think Coco and I, we're going to beat you.
Okay, now, y'all not going to put two on me. I have to take you one at a time. Have you ever heard the name of Robert Gates?
Yes,
have you heard of that? You know,
Mr. Gates, he's in his own race now.
Okay, we'll see. Miss Stale.
Yes.
I know you're a member of St. John's Baptist Church.
Right.
I know you're faithful. And I know you're one of the sweetest individuals. I've never heard anybody say anything bad about you, but I'm going to tell you in front, Mrs. Maxine Stale. You're going to be beat so bad today, you will never get in another race with Clara Luper from Hoffman, Oklahoma.
We will see.
Don't let her threaten you, Miss Stale. Don't worry about that.
We will see. We will see.
We will
As
see.
I said, all together, we're going to be a winner.
Oh, yeah, all together.
All together.
And that includes Clara Luper.
Right.
And poor Miss Walker tried. Miss Walker tried so hard this morning along with Mrs. Hunter. Clara Luper, hello? Hello?
Right, Mom. We have a caller here that's anxious to talk with you. Good morning. How you doing this morning?
Okay, they weren't anxious.
Well,
if you have never gotten in a race, you have never lost. And that day you get in a race with Clara Luper, you lose. If you don't believe it.
In a few minutes from now, 10 o'clock, all the talk can be put aside because we'll be going after the real deal. Things like that will be going on. And I believe the call is called back. But, Mom, I'm ready to do my
Okay.
birthday celebration
Okay,
song.
well, wait. I
Before
want to
that, I
hear.
have some
I want to
people waiting.
hear. Okay,
They've been waiting a
hello.
long time.
Hi, how are you doing this morning?
Okay,
listen.
Marilyn, you got the names of those winners for me?
Yes, and the winners of the local competition in AXO, David Williams in classical music instrumental, Charlotte Watkins in oratory, and the field of a playwright, we have Algina Sadbury. In the field of contemporary instrumental, we have Ann Helen Roberts. In the field of photography, Carla Reed. The AXO winner for the...
Yes.
Yes, I'm trying to get these. I can't find my master list of them. I had to go through each one individually.
You better hurry and do it.
Mallory in essay. The winner in biology is Katina Jones. Charlotte Watkins in drama. And Roger Freeney in contemporary vocal. In vocal, classical, we have Dancy. And Marvin L. Davis from Douglas High School in painting.
Well, Mom, Marilyn,
Yes.
you know what? I know you have the list there. Why don't you bring that list up to the Freedom Center, and we'll be having it on display there. And then next Saturday,
You're calling
we'll call in a little
early.
earlier. We have ample time to get all of that done, okay?
One more.
Well,
Miss
you don't
Brothers
understand.
in the field of oratory.
All right, then. Well, thank you. And we will see you at Freedom Center. Are you selling catfish dinners today?
Of course I'm selling catfish.
Are you in the
dinners, and I would
race?
like to encourage all of my friends, customers, and Ms. Walker said, and her enemies too. But I don't have any enemies, Ms.
Okay, then. But you have a brother.
Catfish dinner.
You have a brother that's ready to sing. And if he's going to
he's
sing
not
for his
just ready.
catfish, if he's going to sing for his catfish dinner, we'll see how many he serves.
Mom,
Calvin,
I'm not even worried about it because
Calvin. Take it away.
I'm going to take
Bye.
it away, Mom. Don't rush me
Okay.
now. You didn't rush Merlin.
Okay.
You're showing a favoritism there. But, you know, Mom, this is a special weekend because this is a birthday weekend for Maudine Stykes. Maudine Stykes, you might remember, used to run Maudine's Cafe here in Oklahoma City. Those of us that know her well know that she used to work for Tyrone Powers out in the California area. Those of us that know her know also that she's a member of the Tabernacle Baptist Church, and she will be celebrating her 100th birthday this weekend.
Great.
The Memorial Day, they're going to have something special at Tabernacle tomorrow for her. The family's going to meet down at the Washington Park on Memorial Day, and they're taping this song, and they're going to be playing that at the Washington Park. Also, a special birthday celebration goes out to my dear cousin Richard Brown, who turned the magic something this year. So Richard and Mrs. Stykes, I know you got time now and got that radio up. This song goes out to you too. Happy birthday, Maudine. Happy birthday, Maudine Stykes. Happy birthday, Richard. Happy birthday to you. And may you, Maudine, may you, Richard, have many, many more.
This is Clara Luper saying goodbye, and I'll see you at Freedom Center today. And I do love every one of you. Bye-bye now.